Next on Northwest News today, an emotional goodbye. A community remembers a young Oregon woman tragically killed. States in emergency. People prepare for the worst as Sandy surges toward the United States when the hurricane could make landfall. And the battle of the tablets. Techies camp out at Microsoft and Apple stores hoping to get their hands on the latest device. Your news starts now.
This is NWCN. Northwest News and weather 24 hours a day. Now, Northwest News today.
And thanks for joining us on this Friday. I'm Stephen Kilbreath. Friends and family gathered today to remember the life of Whitney Heichel. The young Oregon woman was murdered last week. A public memorial for her is taking place in Gresham today at the church that she attended. Her husband Clint says the outpouring of support from the community has been overwhelming.
I had no idea the amount of love and everything that she had, until, when you're with somebody, you just don't know the scope until they're just not there anymore.
The public memorial is being held at the Salquist Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses in Gresham. Whitney's mother also wrote a letter about the loss of her daughter. To read it, you can go to our website, NWCN.com. Meanwhile, the suspect in Whitney's murder heads back to court today. 24-year-old Jonathan Holt lived in the same apartment complex as Whitney and attended the same church. He's accused of kidnapping Whitney, then killing her. Holt is expected to be formally arraigned during today's hearing. Beyond the Northwest, both Virginia and Maryland have declared a state of emergency. This comes as Hurricane Sandy barrels toward the East Coast. The storm has already killed more than 30 people across the Caribbean, and folks are now filling sandbags, as you can see here in the Northeast, including New Jersey. Officials are warning residents to stock up and be prepared for the worst.
If the electric goes out, I think you should have food on hand. I think you should have plenty of water to drink. And when I say plenty, I mean at least for a few days. You should have batteries, you should have a transistor radio, just so you know what's going on around you.
And take a look here, a look at Sandy from space. The hurricane could hit the day before Halloween, and some forecasters say it could be like the perfect storm that hit 21 years ago when a nor'easter and Hurricane Grace combined into one powerful and deadly storm. Hurricane Sandy has forced Mitt Romney to cancel a campaign event in Virginia. Today he's rallying in Iowa. Meanwhile, President Obama is back at the White House after hitting 8 states in 2 days. Today he's going to make some media appearances in Washington, D.C. as Vice President Joe Biden continues campaigning in some swing states. And yesterday, Mitt Romney picked up a celebrity endorsement at a boisterous rally in Ohio. That's rock icon Meat Loaf showing his support for the presidential candidate, saying this is the first time he's ever been involved in politics. The presidential race is on track to become the most expensive campaign ever. Here are the numbers. President Obama and Mitt Romney have taken in $1.7 billion from fundraisers. And in addition to that, $300 million from super PACs and tens of millions from nonprofit groups. So total donations, $2 billion right now. And if you're wondering where all that money is going, most of it is showing up in the form of TV ads in some battleground states. And the race for Portland's mayor is going to be decided in less than 2 weeks. Some are calling it a stagger to the finish line. Both candidates now dealing with scandals. Jefferson Smith hit a woman at a party in college and also has several driving violations. And Charlie Hales recently backtracked on some self-imposed contribution limits to his campaign. Many undecided voters say they're struggling with their vote.
Kind of none of the above. It's hard to, there's not much choice, really, at this point. It's too bad that all of Smith's stuff came up at the end and not at the beginning.
None of the above.
And how come? A lot of people are saying that, actually.
Yeah, just not inspired. Questionable people.
And some voters even say they're writing in Eileen Brady, who lost the primary election back in May. The race for Washington governor is still up for grabs between Republican Rob McKenna and Democrat Jay Inslee. Earlier this week, we sat down with McKenna. Now it's time to hear from Jay Inslee. He talked about his plans for creating jobs in Washington state.
And we're going to give small businesses research and development tax credits so that they can generate capital and grow their small businesses. This is the source of job creation in our state. I'm excited to get going with my job creation plan.
To watch Inslee and McKenna's entire interview, tune into a special Race to the Wire episode next week. It airs on Thursday, October 30th at 7:30. And both of the men, Jay Inslee and Rob McKenna, not promising to raise taxes. They don't want to raise taxes, but Washington's Governor Chris Gregoire insists that neither candidate will be able to deliver on that campaign promise. She says they will need a source of new revenue, usually a tax increase, to efficiently balance the budget and meet obligations for better public schools. And in the wake of dozens of delays and cancellations, Washington State Ferries officials are now publicly asking employees to come to work on time. As King 5's Eric Wilkinson reports, the problem isn't just affecting passenger schedules, it's costing them money. Now, the Ferry Workers Union maintains there is no work slowdown in effect. The ferry system adds that 99.6% of the sailings have been on time this year. An update now on a story about a Portland family's stolen van. Police say they found it this morning undamaged. The family uses the vehicle to transport their disabled 13-year-old son. Someone stole it Wednesday night, but it was recovered this morning a few blocks away from their home. There's been no arrests. The International Cycling Union says no one will replace Lance Armstrong as the winner of 7 Tour de France races. That announcement came this morning. Armstrong was formally stripped of all of his titles on Monday as the result of a doping scandal. The International Olympic Committee is now deciding what to do about the bronze medal that he won in the 2000 Games. All eyes on Microsoft stock this morning as the company released Windows 8 and their new Surface tablet. The new operating system is designed especially for touchscreen computers. Some were excited about the new products, while others were a little more skeptical.
It looks a lot different. It feels a lot different. It operates differently. And so that's one of the major challenges.
Don't worry, Windows 8 still works with mouse and keyboard shortcuts. The new Surface tablet costs about $500. And while people were lined up at Seattle's Microsoft store this morning, shoppers also camped out across the street at the Apple store. Today is the first day shoppers can order the iPad mini. Some campers say they're still waiting to buy the iPhone 5, and the line looks like this every day. Coming up, lending both hands. A Northwest man volunteers his time to help parents who are trying to stay stress-free for their kids. And their pride is on the line. 2 Northwest football teams look to keep their undefeated seasons alive this weekend. We're going to check in now with Lisa Van Cise and football weekend and pumpkin patch weekend. It's going to be rainy, maybe?
Yep, absolutely. Put the mud boots on the kids.